everyone. Thank you for joining us today. ClickDimensions is happy to be presenting with Inmind for transforming your marketing in an all-digital world. My name is Annie Zemlicka-Hayes, and I am a MarTech Solution Specialist here at ClickDimensions. I've been working with marketing technology for the past 6 years, and prior to that, did some work with Microsoft as well.
Yeah, and my name is Marcos Nunez. I'm the marketing coordinator at Inmind.
So let's go over an agenda, some of the things that we're going to cover today. We'd like to give you an overview of Inmind. I will be talking about digital everything and how to succeed in an all-digital world. I'll be giving you an overview of ClickDimensions live in the environment. We'll have a moment for final thoughts and Q&A towards the end. And with that, Marco, I'll let you take over about Inmind.
Thank you, Anne. Well, for more than 10 years, Inmind has supported the digital transformation of organizations in several industries. This development has accelerated again this year, especially with the large amount of changes that the pandemic has brought. As a Microsoft Gold partner, we have structured our offer with new methodologies and prepackaged offers that allow us to offer you business management solutions while adapting them to your present reality and giving you full control. Our team organized these events, extensions, because we believe more than ever that your business needs smart, innovative, and scalable solutions to grow to its full potential. Thanks to Inmind's proprietary solutions and our ecosystem of technology partners, such as ClickDimensions, we provide you with the tools to achieve the digital transformation of your ERP environment and much more.
Thank you, Marcos.
Back to you, Anne.
Wonderful. Well, let's get started kind of talking about, and as we all know, 2020 changed everything. So 2020 was the year that changed everything, from lockdowns to remote work, social distancing to Zoom fatigue. 2020 was a year like no other. And while we are in a new year, we can expect more of the same from the rest of 2021, at least in the near term. Digital everything isn't going to go away. The way people buy has changed. The digital transformation that was beginning in some organizations wasn't just accelerated by COVID, it was practically mandated. Because buyer behavior has changed, the way that we sell has changed, which in turn changes the way we market. When thinking of sales and marketing, alignment of the two groups is no longer enough. Companies need to focus on integrating and unifying sales and marketing to ensure the organizations are in lockstep with one another and meeting the changing demands and behaviors of buyers. This past fall, Gartner released 2 reports, both with interesting insights on shifting buying and selling behavior. The first report, their Consumer Values and Lifestyle Survey from October, found that 43% of consumers plan to continue the current way of doing things online post-pandemic. Even more telling, from their report, The Future of Sales 2025, Why Sales Needs a Digital-First Approach, Gartner predicts that in less than 5 years, 80% of B2B sales interactions will occur in digital channels. With that validation, it is imperative that marketers adjust to an all-digital world. ClickDimensions also recently surveyed our customers, asking about their marketing practices and priorities. The results shown here are from that benchmarking survey and show what our customers have identified as their top marketing priorities. Over the next 18 months, while it's definitely a diverse response set, it clearly shows a shift to digital. So how do we succeed in an all-digital world? Today, we're going to explore that by focusing on 3 key elements of digital marketing: creating a digital strategy, using data for better insights, and thinking beyond just sending emails. Looking at our first element of success, let's discuss the importance of a digital strategy. It may seem obvious to have a defined strategy. The seemingly overnight shift to a reliance on digital marketing created a reactive rather than proactive approach. To change that, you need a strategy. There are several important considerations when creating your digital strategy. First, you should define clear goals. What do you want to accomplish? And then ensure those goals have measurable metrics associated to them. Perhaps you have a goal to drive more leads and revenue. The associated metrics could be quantifying the percentage of increase in both leads and revenue you hope to achieve. Second, know what's worked for you before. Look back at past marketing efforts. What was successful? What wasn't so successful? Look at success through performance metrics and not just anecdotal feedback, and then incorporate what's worked in your go-forward plan. Finally, be realistic about your needs. Understand what your budget is and what you can do with that budget. Also recognize that means covers more than just budget. Do you have the right resources? Do those resources have the right skill sets? Do you have the tools needed to execute on your strategy? Bring all of these considerations into the final planning for your strategy. Our next element of digital success focuses on data. Going back to the ClickDimensions benchmarking survey I referenced before, 84% of our customers said that marketing analytics were important to their marketing strategy. Furthermore, a recent Forrester report found that 74% of businesses say they want to be data-driven, but less than 30% feel they are good at connecting analytics to actions. A digital approach relies on data. Data is one of the most powerful tools a marketer has. You can utilize data to be more personalized in your marketing efforts. Pull data elements that you've captured about your audience into your campaigns to begin creating the personalized experience buyers are used to in their consumer lives and are starting to expect to see on the B2B side as well. The most obvious use of data is analytics. Study trends and make decisions based on what your data tells you. And remember, actionable data should be clean data, so ensure that data cleanliness is also a priority. Moving to our last key element for digital marketing success, recognize that digital is more than just email. In our benchmarking survey, almost half of respondents indicated that more than half of their marketing campaigns include channels outside of email. That's a promising start, but an all digital world requires more than half. So let's dig in deeper on some ways to go beyond email. A multi-channel campaign means you are more likely to be where your prospects are and increases the likelihood of your audience paying attention to you and not relegating your campaigns to the rest of the digital noise they are being bombarded with. Getting specific, we are going to talk about how MarTech tools, specifically marketing automation technology platforms, support multi-channel marketing. For the next few minutes, we'll discuss features that are common components of marketing automation platforms, including ClickDimensions, that enable a multi-channel approach. We'll cover automated campaigns, forms and surveys, event management, and social marketing. You might hear them referenced as nurture campaigns, drip marketing, or speaking about ClickDimensions specifically, campaign automation. Regardless of what you call them, automated campaigns allow you to communicate with your audience based on their past interactions and activities. This means you can trigger elements of campaigns based on how they interacted with prior components of that same campaign. You can create a personalized one-to-one experience on a mass scale. I know we are talking about going beyond email, and it's true that email is the foundation of automated campaigns, but most platforms will enable you to incorporate other channels into a campaign, including phone calls, SMS messages, social media, web visits, and so on. Landing pages extend a company's website and allow for a clear single call to action that increases conversion, since there aren't the navigational distractions of your website. Oftentimes, landing pages include forms or surveys. Forms allow for the gating of content, signing up for communications, and other such things while providing a means of data capture. Surveys allow you to dig deeper with your audience and capture data points you wouldn't normally find on a form. remembering that the second element of digital marketing success revolves around data. Forms and surveys are two top ways marketers can capture data. 2020 impacted events more than any other marketing and sales activity. Trade shows were canceled or converted to digital events. Webinars saw a surge in popularity as a way of mimicking smaller events. As these in-person events have morphed into digital events, it's important to recognize that online events still enable organizations to connect with their audience and provide a meaningful but different way of networking and making sales connections. Finally, let's look at the role social media has played since the onset of the pandemic. Social was in some cases concerned a marketing task without a strategic tie-in to other marketing programs or activities, but that has certainly changed. According to eMarketer, 1/3 of the world uses social media regularly, and social media instantly became a critical communication channel for marketers to get their messages out when lockdown started and offices closed. Social allows businesses to connect with prospects, customers, and partners, giving them the opportunity not just push their message out, but to listen to what their audience is talking about and use what they hear on social media to make campaigns more relevant. Now let's bring this all together into what a digital campaign might look like. Let's say someone sees an ad you place on Google or Microsoft or another online property. They click on that ad and submit a form from one of your landing pages. That action adds them to your database as a lead or contact, at which point you can put them into an automated nurture campaign that includes emails, but also triggers based on if they interact with a social media post or visit a page on your website, for example. Their activity in the automated campaign could indicate it's time for them to engage with a sales rep and begin progressing through your pipeline. Or it could lead to them being put into a different automated campaign, this one focused on a webinar, including invites and follow-up communications that might even include a survey asking for feedback on the webinar. Maybe then after that effort, they engage with your sales and progress to a new sale. Finally, at the conclusion of your campaign, analyze the data and metrics to access your success. Now I'm going to take a few moments to demo some of the functionality we just reviewed and show you how it works specifically in the ClickDimensions product. ClickDimensions is built in Microsoft Dynamics 365. So all of the data points, and we've talked about the importance of data, all of those data points are being brought back to Dynamics 365 for not only marketing to see, but sales to interact with as well. I'm going to start by showing a campaign. It's important to keep data tracked back to a campaign. This will help your reporting at the end of using anything within ClickDimensions. But campaign functionality is actually something that comes with Dynamics 365. So I'm just going to jump into a campaign here. And what I really like about this is it keeps all of the things that I'm doing, all of the things associated with this campaign together. So I have a quick and easy view of which marketing lists are associated, which emails have been sent, which campaign automations I'm running, talking about the multi-channel approach, what types of visits and page views I've had over time, if anyone has posted forms and when that happened. And then again, if I integrated social or events into this, it would be pulled through to the campaign as well. If you're going to take a multi-channel approach to try to reach people on a larger scale, you'll also want to know when things are happening. ClickDimensions includes a marketing calendar so that you can see when your events are happening, when your social posts are going out, if you're running any campaigns or emails, all of that will show up throughout the marketing calendar. And if you have multiple people within your marketing team, you can also filter by just what you're working on. We talked a little bit about how we could go beyond email. And email really is going to be the foundation of quite a few marketing automation technologies, ClickDimensions included. But there are other ways that you can reach out and incorporate things outside of email into an automated process. We'll take a look at some landing pages and surveys in a moment as another way to reach out, but let's build a quick campaign together here. So I'm going to start this with a marketing list, and we saw that list in my campaign earlier, so we just go ahead and add that. My vision list, I'm going to run that on the entire list, but only once per participant. So there's a number of options for those campaigns as well. In this campaign, I am going to send an email. There is a clear call to action that I have, and I'm just going to add an email that I've created. From that, I'm going to check to see if they clicked on a link within that email. And this is where we can start incorporating different things into the automated campaign. So let's go into this email. I have all of the information in there that I need. I'm going to go into the email interaction and make sure that we're selecting that email. Now, I have a few call to action pieces within this email. I could progress this down the positive path based on just the email being clicked or opened, something very simple. But in this case, I'm keeping my CTA, that call to action, top of mind. So I'll go ahead and select which links are important. To me, I want to know whether or not they clicked the register button or if they clicked to learn about a specific bike. Those are all things that indicate it might be good for someone to check in with them in this case. So I'm going to save that. Only those 4 links will move them down on the positive path. I'm going to notify whoever works with them that they clicked on the registration link, maybe set a task for them to give them a call, because you can create tasks here as well. And I'm also going to check to make sure that they registered for the event. Now, if they don't interact, there's a number of options there too. We can come down, wait a little bit. We can check to see if they visited the online event page. And if they did, maybe have someone give them a call to follow up and see if they'd like to attend. So again, doing that multi-channel approach. If you get to a point where they aren't interacting and they're continually running down negative paths, you could remove them from this list and maybe add them to another list to try for the next event. There's a number of things you can do within these automated campaigns. I always like to build these as I'm talking through them to show that they're very easy to use and that you can use them with multiple channels for marketing. Now, as you get started with something like ClickDimensions, there are a number of templates you can start with. There's an event invitation template. There's one for subscription management. So things are there to help you get started. We also talked a little bit about social. You may choose to create one. Maybe you have a social post that you've created that has a link, that call to action where they should go to register. We want to know if they interacted or clicked on this Twitter post, right? So if they interact with that post, maybe we'll send an email, or maybe we'll just check to see in a little bit. We'll wait a little bit and give them time to register and check to see if they registered for the event or not. So there's a number of things that we can do within this automation to follow up on social as well. So social clicks are certainly a part of automated campaigns, as well as visits to your webpage. So you can use this in many different ways. Now, I'm the kind of person that could talk about campaign automation all day. There's a number of different applications for this, but if your organization has any specific questions or use cases, we're always happy to take a look at those as well and talk through them. So with that, let's take a look at some of the other channels we talked about. I'm going to go ahead and leave this campaign automation. And in that, there was a landing page that click to register was there. So this was for our fictitious company, Troximo. and we wanted them to register for this Ride to Buy event. This is a ClickDimensions form that we've created, and when someone fills it out, you can actually create a new lead or contact right within Dynamics for you. So if they're not already there, it'll populate that in Dynamics 365. You can very easily create landing pages here that include all of your social pieces, any forms or surveys from ClickDimensions, links to videos if you'd like, buttons, and so on. It is very easy to set this up and decide what you'd like it to look like. If you want to not add specific images, or if you don't want them to stack on the mobile version, you can do that as well. But we're also going to allow you to preview what these are going to look like in both desktop, tablet, and mobile. So this one, I may choose to not stack some of the pieces here with the motorcycles and their links because it's not stacking correctly. And that's one of the options that you can do within the landing page editor. This is another way to reach people without having to update your entire website. Really great for events, great for things where you have like a limited time promotion or something like that. But we can come in and we can customize the URL. We can have a link directly to the landing page, and ClickDimensions will host that. Or you can embed it as an iframe into your existing website. If you're doing the custom URLs, it allows you to easily track how people are getting to that landing page as well. So if you need to add some parameters to that URL so that you can easily search it later on and see if they came in from your LinkedIn post, if they came in from your Facebook ad, whatever it might be, you could have different links to the same landing page by cloning those very easily in ClickDimensions. So just a little tip there on landing pages. Now that one had a form associated as well. And the way that our forms work is the data comes back to Dynamics very easily. So if someone is coming in and filling out a form, for example, it looks like Joe filled out one here, and here's one of the Troximo forms. I can come in and see all of the information that Joe added. It looks like it was part of a campaign automation and associated to the Contact Us campaign. This means that if this data wasn't right there, now it is in Dynamics, and we can access that, but we can also go to the contact record at any time and see any data related. So if I want to go in and see what's going on here specifically, I can see this contact's lead score. I can see email events associated to this contact, any marketing lists that they're a part of. And this is all pulled together under the contact in Dynamics 365 because it's within ClickDimensions. Page views, survey answers, any emails sent, visits to the website. So all of that is pulled right into the contact level. And if you need to see, again, all of your forms or surveys that are completed, they're all right here in Dynamics as well. We did talk about surveys as another way to use the multi-channel approach. So here is a view of the new survey editor provided by ClickDimensions. If you are a current user of ClickDimensions, this has been updated recently. So check the version of your ClickDimensions install. And we'll take a closer look at the survey editor. Now it is drag and drop, and it does support Net Promoter Score surveys if that's something that's important to you. But you can create a number of different questions, drag and drop them into the survey as needed. You have a number of options for each of them. You also have the ability to start creating logic, especially if you have a multi-page survey, someone that should go to different surveys based on how they're interacting. And you can test the survey right here. How's your experience? What's that rating? Add an email address. I have a long last name. And then you can complete that and test it out. So you can see the survey result. Thank you for completing the survey. Looks like it was great. NPS scores. and we can test the survey again. So this is actually what it looks like when it's completed as well. So it lets you test the entire process within the builder. And you can add logic to that, drop down questions, check boxes. You can add a signature pad if you need to. So there's a number of options there. So you may use surveys as sort of like customer satisfaction surveys, surveys just to see, what are you interested in hearing more from us on, and all of those pieces as well. So a number of ways to use those surveys for your multi-channel approach to marketing. And as we go back to messaging, and you'll see that I'm going through Dynamics 365 to access all of this, I'm also going to go in and take a look at my social posts. Now I have a draft post here associated to my vision campaign that we talked about earlier. And it's very easy to create these posts. So I'm just going to actually go, we'll move this here for a moment. I'm going to go to the ClickDimensions blog and grab one of our new blog articles, Waste Managed Services Can Benefit Marketers. And I'm just going to grab the link for that. If I go back into the posting, I'll create that post. And as I add that, I'm going to go ahead and add it to LinkedIn in this case. It's going to start pull that together. I can start to see the information for that post. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube are also available. You'll see that it'll pull through the image from the blog. You can change the text. We do have the links do shorten for you when you do the posts here. But what I really like about this is with Facebook and LinkedIn, a lot of times people are wanting to target someone specifically. And we can do that here by selecting a targeted audience. You may have some presets already associated to your LinkedIn account, but maybe you want to target a specific company size. And maybe you want to target, a specific region and so on. Those are all things that you would be able to do here. Seniority, geography, language, if that's important to you. So those are some of the great things we can do with LinkedIn. You can do some of that in Facebook as well by choosing your audience and specific newsfeed targeting. So you can really set to target your social posts as well. Once you post those, we also track all of the clicks back to Dynamics. So as people are clicking on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, you'll be able to start to see those come back in. And if they're a known leader contact, which means they've clicked through on a ClickDimensions email or completed a ClickDimensions form, we know we can start tracking them. Then you will see here that Joe has interacted. You'll be able to see which link was clicked, and you'll see, as I mentioned, the links were automatically shortened for these as we put them in. So these are the shortened version of each of the links that we looked at earlier. So we looked through a few of those different channels to reach out to people with. I think it's always important to take a look at, with any marketing automation solution, how email performs as well. So let's take a look at one of the email templates. I'm going to go ahead and save this one. And then I'm going to go into the email editor. Again, we're accessing all of this right within Dynamics 365. And so while multi-channel approach really makes a lot of impact right now, people still need to send emails. So with this one, it's fully drag and drop. If I want to add more images or more text, I can drag and drop those in here, easily add those images. Maybe I want to add a different bike image. I could choose one of these here, add that in. In addition, I'd really like to make sure that this is personalized to the reader. So whoever I send this to, I want it to pull from the contact record in Dynamics 365 some specific information about that contact. In this case, I'm just going to pull their first name. ClickDimensions provides a personalization menu so that we can personalize this email based on who it's going to. I may want to test to see what that's going to look like. So I could send a test to myself. I could also preview the email, and let's preview it as a specific recipient so we can see what that personalization looks like. I'm going to add my name here, and we'll add. And as it does this, it's going to show me what it would look like if I received this email. And this allows you to easily test your personalization. Because we're focusing on a ride to buy event, we might say we see you have this current motorcycle type, something you could easily store in Dynamics 365 and pull into an email as well. And then we can also see what this looks like on mobile. Now, there are a number of other features here within the email editor that you'll see commonly. Things like adding social links, adding a video link if you'd like. And we do have some requests at times to make things more flexible than a general drag and drop editor. So you may choose to add an entire section of HTML and code it yourself, which is also available. If you do need to lock sections, for example, I have a number of customers that will lock the footer section so that others can't come in and update that part of the email. You want to make sure your social links and your company information is at the bottom of every email. You can set it up so that only a few people in your organization have the ability to do that. Lock and unlock those sections. But what happens when that email gets sent? Let's take a look at some of the data that comes back there. We're going to take a look at one of these Troximo emails here. I'm going to go ahead and open this one. And you'll see the general data based on that email. Clicks, opens, unique opens. You'll start to see some of that performance. We do allow you to do A/B split testing with emails as well. And let's take a look at the overall email statistics. Now, every deliver, open, click, unsubscribe, and bounce comes back to Dynamics 365 and is associated to the leader contact that did that interaction. But if you want to see a great overall report, ClickDimensions does provide that to you, showing click and open rates, hard versus soft bounces, desktop versus mobile, where are the openings happening, conversions, who visited your website or submitted a form or survey after receiving that email, a list of all of the links and the clicks associated to them, and a click heat map. This one is great to see if text-based links versus image-based links work better for you. So you can kind of start to test that with the A/B split testing and see where people are clicking on links most often within your emails. If you use the social sharing feature to share something to Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn by clicking a button within the email, it will tell you who shared it and where they shared it to as well. So you can start to track some of those pieces. And those are some of the statistics that we'll get back on those specific email sends. So we took a look at quite a few of the features of ClickDimensions within Dynamics 365 today. I should note that ClickDimensions works solely with Dynamics 365. We are meant to be a solution that is fully native to it. It looks and feels like it's part of Dynamics, and it allows you to track all of your email events, all of your activities for your forms, surveys, and landing pages, and even web tracking, who's been on your website, what pages, how long were they on those pages, all back to Dynamics 365. I am going to jump back and go through some final thoughts here. So change has long been a way of life for marketers, but never to the degree or scale experienced since the onset of the pandemic, when marketing plans and indeed our entire lives were upended overnight. While the pace of that change has returned to more typical levels in more recent months, it's critical for marketers to understand where their customers are now and where they will be in the future. While it sometimes feels like an overused term, the new normal is relevant for a reason. Although certain elements of pre-pandemic life, like live events, will return over time, digital will still continue to dominate all our lives. Smart businesses will lean into that change and utilize Microsoft Dynamics and marketing technologies to create the experiences that buyers expect today and will demand tomorrow. Well, thank you everyone for your time today. We hope that this was beneficial. And if there are any questions about how to transform your marketing in an all digital world, please feel free to reach out to Inmind, and they can get you connected with us here at ClickDimensions.
Thank you everyone for your time. Have a good rest of the day.